So I think we kind of just made an impact straight away, really. I think a lot of people have doubted us, knowing it's our third test match, and it's being my first match. I think knowing the score from last year, I think people thought, I think maybe there's a bit of complacency there, I'm not sure, but from the start, all we said was we're going to play for the badge and make our families proud. And I think that's what kind of took over. Really, was just the pride in the badge.
Your international debut, like I say, it's only the third game for Wales women. But how did you feel you went when you came off the bench? Seemed to make quite a big impact.
Yeah, I'm really, really self-critical actually on anything I do, but I would have loved to have done more in my own performance. But at the end of the day, I pulled in some players, some big defence in to open up for the girls to go wide. So I did my role. I think you're never going to put in a dream performance breaking lines against girls at that standard, but I think as a whole, I did my job. So I'm really, really happy with that.
And it was the England girls are going to the World Cup as, a team very much within a shout of winning it. We haven't qualified for the World Cup for a very obvious reasons, that we haven't been around as a women's team for long enough. How did you find going up against that higher standard and higher caliber opposition?
Yeah, so it's good. I play with some of those girls week in, week out because we're in the same league. I missed out against St Helens because I had COVID, but they're kind of like a super league team essentially, and they've all got this amazing style of play, and they've got really good connections. So I think it was a massive kind of shock to the system at first, with those big hits. But once they were out of the way, I felt like we were quite competitive. And I said to the girls at half time, like regardless of what the score is, I feel like it wasn't reflected in the game. And I said to the girls, like, you literally just can't beat that kind of like Welsh grit and determination. I said, at the end of the day, I think we're quite hard. So I think whatever they were throwing at us, we just take it and crack on, really.
The performance was an impressive one, going up against a team of that caliber, and the improvement in the scoreline, the performance on the game last year. You need to take the positives into Italy next week, because you obviously want to as a team perform better, but it's about now the next sights will be set on getting that first win, won't it? I'm sure. So what do we need to do more of against Italy, and what are the areas for improvement, sort of reflecting on the game 24 hours on?
Yeah, so I think after having a bit of a sleep on it and all like the mad rush is over, I feel like it's just excitement, really. If we can do that off only 3 games together, and a lot of us, we're like a new squad this year as well, so that's our first game together. Some of us have only had 1 or 2 training camps because we've been brought in later. And it's just excitement. If we can do that against one of the best teams in the world, what can we put out against a team who's kind of similar to our standard at the minute in like a new environment in rugby league? So I think our main goal is really to work on our shape and our set plays we're trying to implement. And I think we're trying to build like, what is our team like selling point? Like, what are we good at? And I think we're very good at speed of the ball. I think we've got really good flair. And I think like that's what we need to start bringing, our individual attributes, and then trying to build that into a better shape on the field.
So yeah, it's a European Championship game this Sunday, rather, at home again. What was it like running out in front of that crowd at Cross Keys on Sunday? And has that whetted your appetite for more of the same again this weekend?
Yeah, 100%. And one of the other exciting things is that we haven't even had the selected squad for Sunday yet. So we've got a long squad of girls, and that squad's coming out, I think, tomorrow, Wednesday. So the depth we have as well in the long squad is really exciting. So it's kind of, you can't get too excited yet, but if you are selected, then that feeling is just, you want it more when you see your family and friends out there and people cheering you. And it's just, I think Cross Keys as well, it was such a Welsh environment, and you just felt like you were in the heart of Wales. And they were so like welcoming and warm, and it just felt really, really Welsh, and I loved it. So hopefully selection on Sunday would be amazing, but whoever goes out there deserves it. And I think it's just, kind of excited us for what we can become. And we want to be those role models to the young girls and people and ladies in Wales, really.
Mentioned obviously your debut, and we posted something on social media earlier today where you'd messaged the Wales Rugby League Instagram account. There was just under 1 year ago where you were asking about that. Could you have imagined less than a year on, you would be walking out with a Welsh shirt on, stood there singing the national anthem?
It's bizarre, really. I think I watched the girls go out against their test series last year, and I heard all the buzz around the Wales Rugby League team. I was just coming out of my netball career thinking I'm kind of slowing down there. So I thought I'd send a message, because it was a brand new setup. I thought, oh, maybe someone will reply to me. But obviously it's a bit more professional than that. And it's kind of bizarre, isn't it? I joined Warrington in November after leaving the army and moving back home to North Wales. And when I got the phone call from Tom asking me to come down to a training camp, I was like, oh, maybe things are just coming together for me. And you never expect these opportunities, but I think the best thing you can do is just take them with open arms and grasp them and perform to your best. And I feel like with rugby league, it's always been about the enjoyment for me. I've had a very successful career in netball, and I always said if I was going to do another sport, it's enjoyment first, and hopefully the rewards will follow from just hard work. So Saturday yesterday, I don't know if anyone noticed, but we had my arms around the girls, and when I was singing the national anthem, I was just in absolute tears. It felt like I'd come full circle, and it took a lot of hard work to get there. So it was a very, very big moment for me.
Do you say full circle because was rugby league perhaps a sport you played when you were younger, or was that just a turn of phrase you mentioned there? I guess my next question was going to be, why rugby league? What was there other sports you were considering that you wanted to get involved in to keep that sporting fire burning, I guess, when you finished netball?
So I never played rugby league before. I've never played rugby at all. I played once for the army, messed about with my friends. But in terms of working really hard to get to a Wales netball dress at Commonwealth Games first cap, it's really weird because my first Wales senior cap was against England as well. So I think that's why it felt just full circle. But I got into rugby league through my brother. He used to play growing up for North Wales Crusaders, and he had a stint at Warrington Wolves Academy. And then when I was considering what sport to play, I was like, oh, maybe football or, cricket or something, just more skill. He's like, Fern, you have to try rugby league, as I think you'll be good at it with your skill set, your speed. I was like, oh, I don't know if I can tackle Toby, my brother. I was like, I don't think that's for me. And then he said, if you're going to play, make sure you play for a team that will take you places. So it was never my intention to do anything to this high standard. I thought, my knees were sore. I thought I'm just going to chill out a bit, and left the army, focus on my teaching career. So I got in touch with Warrington Wolves, literally just sent them a message again. And the head coach phoned me and said, come on down to training. And then within the first 10 minutes, he had me wrestling on the mat, and I'd never done any contact sport. It was slightly terrifying. But again, just threw myself into it. And I think the best thing about rugby league is the culture. It's such a great environment, and where you're from, who you are, it doesn't matter. Everyone's just welcoming, and I just love the culture. So if that, I didn't really mind where I went with it, but I was just happy to be in the environment.
There are some very obvious transferable skills, catch and pass being one of them. And I think one of the first things that when I was watching the game yesterday, you did a ball went loose and you picked it up like sort of a difficult ball to pick up, picked it up with one hand, got it into two hands, and sort of an overhead pass to put your the back row or the centre away. So that's a very obvious transferable skill from netball to rugby league. What are the skills that you found easier to sort of bring across from your previous sporting career, and what have been the more difficult ones to pick up and learn and develop? And obviously you're still learning and developing. You're only a year into playing a sport.
Yeah, so straight away I found like my attack was good. So it's the step in is similar to a dodge, getting free, and that speed of breaking through a line, because over netball you've got such a short court, so that explosive power. Because I was a defender in netball, that coming forward and sprinting for an interception, I'm really, really quick over 5 to 10 meters. So if I break a line, I'm kind of gone. And I found that was quite a strong point to my game straight away. Defensively, the easiest thing I found was that mimicking of a player as they're coming towards me, quite shadowing. It was just the initial contact. I didn't know whether to go low, high. I just kind of threw myself on someone and tried to pull him down. I was very quick off coming off the ruck because I wanted to get back, but I think the hardest thing for me has been controlling the ruck area and that wrestle on the floor, because I've never experienced that before. I feel like I'm quite an unorthodox player at the minute, and it's quite nice because in the Super League in Wales, people don't really know what I'm going to do, and to be honest, I don't know what I'm going to do at the minute. It's just rolling how I feel with it, and it's quite fun and exciting at the same time. When I first started to play, the head coach at Warrington Wolves said I was going to be a prop, and I was like, oh God, I don't think I can be a prop. I said, am I powerful enough? Am I big enough? And I think I definitely see why I've been put into that role. But I think for a prop, I've got some good leg speed, which kind of sets me aside as an unusual kind of prop. So I can be quite transitional. So yeah, it's all up in the air at the minute, but I love the position. You see a lot of the ball, and there's a lot of transferable skills, but the contact is a lot of prop, which I was not expecting.
I was about to say that's the one thing. Whilst the catch and pass is a very obvious transferable skill, the contact, and I speak to people who just play netball, I guess, socially or for community teams, not at a level that you've played at. And if you dare say that netball is non-contact, they put you correct straight away. But it's very much a different type of contact. Was that something you were longing for from sport, that opportunity to run into people, and from that netball didn't provide?
I feel like in netball you have to have a really strong core, because honestly you'll get the similar kind of hits, but you have to hold your core so strong so you don't move. Sometimes you can have a defender plowing through you at that kind of level, but completely by accident, or not by accident in netball, it's a non-contact sport. But what's quite freeing about rugby is that you can just let loose and explode that power that you've got. So I feel like that kind of core strength helps with offloading the ball, and when you've got about three to four girls wrapped around you, holding that core in and offloading that ball. But it's quite nice just to let it be. A lot nicer on the knees as well, having to start all the time. I found that quite hard at first, to kind of pass the ball and run at the same time, but it is slowly coming. And I'm not going to say, I'm an expert yet, or, I should be here, I deserve this, but these little key elements that I'm developing on are obviously working in some way. And I welcome as much coaching and knowledge as I can, because I just want to be a better player now. I've got the bug for it. Being back in the red shirt, representing Warrington Wolves, it's brought that fire back inside of me. And what went from, I just want to play rugby league for social and to make friends again after moving home after like 9 years in the army, has gone from, I want to represent Wales, I want to have a starting shirt, I want to be starting in the Super League, and I want to make a name for myself now. And that's what I think sport's all about, elite sport. So yeah.
I was about to say that clearly that you need a mindset to achieve what you've achieved even so far in your sporting career, and obviously being in the army and being a teacher doesn't take no lack of sort of mental strength and fortitude. You mentioned earlier on that you're kind of looking and hoping to be selected for Italy, and that's obviously very much the next in that European Championship. But seeing as Tom, the head coach, has spoken about the World Cup, I'll put the question to you. Is that an aspiration of yours, the 2025? You can be part of a Wales team, the first Wales women's team to go to a Rugby League World Cup. Is that something you've thought about?
Yeah, definitely. I was actually chatting to Tom about it in the car. And I was like, I don't know, am I going to be too old? But I would like to think that I've had to think about it, and definitely that's something that I would like to do. I think heading towards that kind of World Cup, I would have had a lot of experience on my back playing in the Super League as well. And if I maintain the standard I'm at, I can only grow and develop further. And I'd like to kind of be like that mainstay, more of a leadership role from my experience in elite competitions, the Commonwealth Games. I've done a World Cup in netball, so I think it's really good to have that kind of leadership role in the team. And I'd like to kind of put myself in that position. And it's definitely something I'm going to set my sights to, and can only get bigger, fitter and stronger. So yeah, I think as a squad that's where we need to be aiming to now, and we can only get better.
And just one final one, then we'll bring it back from looking ahead to 3 years time to 6 days time. The people in Cross Keys who came and from surrounding areas would have had potentially their first taste of rugby league on Sunday. What would you say to both those people who've come already and the people who might think I might go and take a look on Sunday? Because like I said, that first win for Wales women could come on Sunday with another good performance. There's a chance to be part, hopefully, of Welsh sporting history, isn't it?
Yeah, so how amazing to say you've been a part of that. Like I said earlier, just Cross Keys Rugby Club, you were so warm, and we can only thank you for your hospitality. It was such a nice environment to be in, and all I'd say is it's a fast, exciting game, and if you've got nothing to do on a Sunday, come down and watch us. At the end of the day, we're here representing our country, putting our bodies on the line, and hopefully just proving that women are strong, powerful, and it's on a Welsh doorstep. You know, we're local girls. We've all got jobs. We've all got careers, but we work really, really hard to ensure that we're leaving a legacy. And I think that's all we want to do is make our family and friends proud, ourselves proud, and definitely the Welsh badge proud.